Hi everyone, Sue Cook here. Decision State Intelligence, or DSI, is a system designed for one thing, and it's for improving how organisations make high stakes decisions under pressure. Now, I'm not talking about strategy or training or process improvement. I'm talking about the hidden layer underneath all of that. And this is not just another leadership framework. This is a measurable system based on decision state, not personality or behavioural models. Most organisations assume performance fails at the strategy level, but in reality, strategy is rarely the problem. Execution fails the moment a decision is made under pressure. And that's where things silently break. Somebody might say, well, we already have a strategy and execution framework. Yeah, so does everyone. The gap isn't frameworks. It's what happens between people and decisions when pressure hits. You see it as stalled deals, delayed priorities, misalignment between teams, but none of these are the root problems. They're symptoms of unstable decision conditions. And people might say, well, we track pipeline and performance already. But I might say, well, you're tracking outcomes. DSI tracks why outcomes degrade before they show up in the data. Most systems measure output. Very few measure the internal state that produces the decision. And this is the missing variable in almost every organisation I've seen. And somebody might say, well, this sounds subjective. And I'd say, well, it would be if it wasn't systemised. DSI turns state into a structured diagnostic model. Decision quality is not random. It follows a sequence. State determines which cognitive drivers are accessible, and that determines the quality of the decision. And someone might say, is this neuroscience? And I'd say, well, it's applied behavioural plus cognitive systems thinking. We don't need medical precision, we need operational accuracy. DSI is a decision operating system. It allows you to identify, interpret, and shift decision states in real time inside your organisation. And someone might say, is this software? And I might say, well, not initially. It's a system that can be delivered as diagnostics, training, and enterprise integration. Now, where this becomes valuable is in high-cost decision environments. So where you have revenue acceleration, sales cycle risk detection, leadership alignment, change program failure prevention, negotiation or clarity under pressure. So somebody might say, well, which area do you specialise in? And I might say, well, we typically start with revenue and decision flow because it gives you the fastest measurable return on investment. And this is one of the most powerful applications. It predicts deal stalls before they appear in CRM data. It reads behavioural drift, response latency, narrative fragmentation, and stakeholder silence. Someone might again say, that sounds subjective. And I might say, well, individually, yes, systematically, no. When combined, these signals become predictive. This is what it improves: decision speed, executive alignment, revenue flow stability, reduction in stalled work. The outcome is not more effort, it's fewer broken decisions. And someone might say, well, what's the return on investment? And I might say that depends on scope, but even small improvements in deal velocity or execution friction typically exceed the cost of engagement. We don't start with enterprise transformations. We start with a diagnostic pilot, then scale into applied labs and system integration. And someone might say, well, we don't want a long consulting engagement. And I'd say, good, that's not what this is. We're designed to identify value quickly before scaling anything. DSI operates beneath process and above psychology. It targets the layer where organizational failure actually happens, unstable decision states. And someone might say, well, why hasn't this been done before? And I'd say, well, most systems optimize processes or behavior. Very few work at the level where decisions are actually formed. The next step is simple. We run a diagnostic session inside a real decision environment. We map where breakdown is happening, quantify risk zones, and identify intervention points. This is either immediately relevant to your organisation or it isn't. But if it is, the impact shows up fast.